name is Norman Lear, and you are watching Dispatches from Quarantine. My father went to prison when I was 9 years old, and I lived for 3 years with my grandparents. I'm someone who believes that if the moment is ripe and good, every split second of the life that led up to it has been worth it, which includes all the agony, all the pain, all the bad years, all of the troubles, it's what it took to get you to this moment. If I have my senses with me, I'm living in this moment, and this is my moment. It took me every split second of my life to get here. So it has to be important.
Thank you. Holy shit.
Esther, she played Maude's maid. Florida was the character's name. And she was brilliant and wonderful. And it was the network who said to me, isn't there a show around that woman?
Ma'am? Oh, did I hear you say ma'am? Oh, no. We can't have that in this household. Now, from now on, I want you to call her Carol and me Maude. Now, what shall we call you?
Mrs. Evans.
And thinking about that, we decided to do an episode on Maude in which Florida's husband came to pick her up. So in a sense, it was a test for what became the John Amos role.
Now, you hurt because of your pride, and I love you for that. But I also resent you for not being just as proud of me as I am of you.
I am proud of you, Florida. It's just that I don't want you to be a maid no more.
We hired John Amos to be that husband, and we could, the network and we could see the couple, and they said, go ahead, let's do the pilot. And then we brought in the children, et cetera, and good times began. And John was, just a marvelous presence on that show, a perfect casting. Esther Roll and John Amos were the first African-American couple on television to star in a show. I understood it as a heavy weight as the first Black couple they had. And perhaps more than they needed to, they were carrying more responsibility than they needed to, because the rest of us were thinking about that too. But they were the ones in the roles on the screen. So we had a really sensitive, difficult time, but I never spent a moment without appreciating what he brought to the show and the role. I have a young partner, Brent Miller by name, who is a fabulous executive. And he came to me one day after having had lunch with somebody who may have asked him the question, or I don't remember what direction that went, but they wondered about a Latina version of One Day at a Time. And he came to me with the idea, and I loved it. I thought about Rita Moreno in a flash, or he may have thought about that even before I heard about it, but we both jumped on that. She was available. And then we filled in around her with Justina Machado and so forth, and two showrunners, Gloria Calderon-Collette and Mike Royce are the two showrunners, and they're brilliant. And so I'm having a glorious time with a great cast now. Rita Moreno and Justina Machado and so forth. It's fabulous.
My God, he's a genius.
I think I'd be more grown up if I could say I'm doing better than I am really doing. I hate being housebound. I'm in as pretty a house as I know with a woman I adore, but the fact that I can't get out, I wish it didn't trouble me as much as it did. My eyesight at close to 98 isn't what it was when I was younger, so it takes me a long time to read the papers. So I get the LA Times, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. I struggle to read them. I get a lot of calls, and I've had a lot of interviews. People know I'm trapped, and I'm in one place, and they can reach me. So, I mean, you know, I don't have anything. If I were grown up, I would have nothing to complain about. Now I have fallen in love with tangerine juice. I never had tangerine juice before 3-4 months ago. And so it's now coffee and tangerine juice I look forward to. I'm very well aware of my age, and it doesn't scare me so much as it lingers in my mind, because I want more of what got me here. I have 25-year-old twin daughters. Neither of them is married yet. My bucket list would include being there for the birth of their children. And who knows, I don't know what I'm having for dinner. I'm looking forward to that too.
What's your beef against the networks?
I spend hour upon hour arguing with censors about the tiniest things. The network often takes the position that Norman Lear and the others in the creative community, I mean, how can they do this? How can they bite the hand that feeds them? I consider that the creative community are the hands that feed.
And they're biting your
And they're biting our hands.